Welcome to the Quickstart webinar. My name is Noah Harris. You can call me Coach Noah. You can call me Noah. We do this every single Thursday at 1 o'clock, thanks to the Private Money Club, right? So if you're like, what the heck is the Private Money Club? We'll talk about a little bit about that. But we do this like clockwork. And the reason why I love doing this is the more I teach, the better I become at explaining this stuff to my private money lenders. Right. So the idea here is for you guys, whoever wants to take advantage of this, you can take advantage of this. Every single week at 1 o'clock, we do this webinar and we practice the fundamentals. We practice the best practices of borrowing and lending. So that's a given. So every single Thursday, 1 o'clock, 30 minutes, we're talking private money lender, best practices and fundamentals. And the idea here is if we meet every week, we do this regularly, then you're going to build these private money lending and borrowing muscles. And I'm going to give you some things today to work on, to write down, to practice explaining to folks. And we're going to get so good at this that it's a part of our subconscious. So just like we blink without thinking about it, just like we take deep breaths without thinking about it, all these things. My goal is for everyone that hops on regularly is that you're able to explain what private money lending is without thinking about it. My goal is for you to be able to rattle off the documents that you provide to lenders without even think about it, without even having to think about it, right? Just like you're telling someone your phone number, right? Just like that. So we practice this every single week, okay? Cool. Chat box is blowing up. I love it. We've got 69 and climbing. And yeah, feel free to network here. Yeah, it is 1 o'clock Eastern time. Thank you, Lucy. All right. If you've ever seen me on a webinar before, if you've ever gone through a coaching program with me, you know this, guys. I am very big on disclosures and disclaimers, especially when it comes to private money lending. So it's important for you to know that I am not an accountant. I'm not a real estate attorney. I'm not a broker. I'm not a licensed contractor. I'm none of these things. I'm teaching from the perspective of my own experiences as a real estate investor. All right. And one of the reasons why I said yes to Private Money Club when they asked me to teach this weekly webinar was I truly believe in the ability of private money lending to help people get deals funded and to help people make interest on their money. I truly believe in this opportunity, but this is the truth. True story. I have friends that have lost money as private money lenders. I have friends who, they got caught up on the shiny interest rate and they lent money, and then they picked up the phone and said, hey, Noah, this was supposed to be a 12-month thing. It's been 18 months. I haven't heard from this person. Can you please help me? And that made me really mad, you guys. So especially someone who's always advocating for private money lending. I was like, why didn't you come to me? So I asked them, hey, you're afraid you're going to lose your funds. Did you do this, and this before wiring the money? And they said, no, I didn't even know to do those things. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay. Did you ask these questions? No, I didn't. I never did those things. I didn't even know to ask those questions. And that just made me real mad, and I hated that for my friends. So during our time together here, I can't guarantee a person's success. I'll never do that. But what I will tell you is there are questions to ask. There are documents that you want to have in place before lending and borrowing. There is a right way and a wrong way to do this, right? And if a person were to follow some of the blueprints that we're talking about here, right, on this call, then I think it's going to increase their odds of being able to make interest on their money and get their principal back and being able to do this business the right way. Do you guys agree with this? Give me a big oh yeah if you agree with this. So I share case studies. Lots of times I'll talk about what I got going on like right now, and just know that those are like real life case studies. So because they're my case studies, nothing is going to go the exact same way that it did for me, for you, right? So there's lots that can go wrong. So please don't lend money frivolously. Don't lend money that you don't have. You can't afford to lose, especially if you don't have education around this. You guys get this, right? But one of the biggest things that I teach, and this is a lesson, if you're just hopping on the call for the first time, right? Let's actually see this. Who is on the call for the first time? Like type brand new in the chat box if you're on here for the first time and you're brand new. Who is brand new? Oh, I love it. James, you're brand new? All right, all right, all right. Brand new, brand new, brand new. All right, cool. So I'm gonna tell you, I got a couple hand raises. I like it. New to this call. Okay, all right. I was like, you're not brand new. All right, cool. So one of the very first things, like James, I know James is taking my wife's mobile home course. I saw your name pop through, maybe the accelerator program as well. One of the very first things that I teach everyone is the importance, and I'm always reminding them every single week here, is the importance of surrounding yourself with licensed business professionals. If you want to be great at borrowing money, that's step one, guys. Especially if you're brand new to real estate. If you're brand new or not, this is important, but especially if you're brand new, right? Because what's going to happen if you have a great conversation with someone and they say, hey, you know what? I'm really interested in becoming your lender, but before we dive into things, tell me something. Like, how many deals have you done? And if you're like, well, I'm brand new, but like every Thursday I log on to this webinar with this guy named Noah, they're gonna be like, what are you talking about, right? So before you start having these conversations and building relationships with lenders or getting into real estate at all for that matter, we want to go out and we want to find the best real estate attorney. We want to go out and find the best accountant. We want to go out and find the financial advisor. We want to go out and find licensed contractors, real estate agents, so on and so forth, right? And what I found is if you surround yourself with excellence, things tend to go the way we hope that they go. A whole lot higher odds of being successful in the business. You guys get this, right? So that's a big tip. If you don't know, if you're on this call right now and you want to raise money, you want to borrow money for a real estate deal, but you don't know who your contractor is going to be or who the attorney is going to be that's going to draw up the paperwork for your lender, that's a problem, right? So start with these simple steps, figure out who your team's going to be. I think you guys will be okay. All right. All right, cool. So let's see. All right, we're diving into it. 85 people and climbing. For those of you hopping on the call for the first time, my name is Noah Harris. I live in Columbia, South Carolina. I am a coach for Private Money Club. Many of you may recognize me from the Money Tank events, whether it's virtual or in person. We actually have a Money Tank event coming up in Salt Lake City that you can attend live or virtually. I'll be speaking on the topic of private money lending. My wife, Christy, and we do the business together. Christy's going to be teaching mobile home investing during that Money Tank event. And I also coach the accelerator program. So every Thursday at 1 o'clock, I do this webinar for free. We spend an hour together. And every once in a while, someone's like, you know what, Noah, I want to learn this quicker, faster, maybe a little bit more in depth. I want to be able to pick up the phone and call you. If that's you, accelerator program might be for you. It's a 4-week class. The next one starts May 6th. All right, May 6th. I've got some friends in the chat box. Jose, are you here? Jose, say hi in the chat box for me real quick. Lots of times if I mention a link, a course, an opportunity or something along those lines, I'll say, Jose, throw the link up in the chat, and Jose will throw the link up in the chat, and you can get connected that way. All right. One of the things that I really hope everyone can come up to me one day when we meet face to face, whether it's next weekend in Salt Lake City or 2 years from now in Mexico at a private money club retreat or something crazy like that. I would love for you to come up and say, hey, no, I've been on your Quickstart webinars. I took your accelerator course, and I have a 100% track record as a lender. Boom. Boom, I would love that. Or hey, no, I have a 100% track record as a borrower using private funds to fund my real estate deals. That's what it's all about, guys. It's just getting good at this. I truly believe that this is relationship-based lending. And one thing that you'll find out about this place called the Private Money Club, if you're hopping on here and you're brand new, is that the relationships that you have here are so much easier. Let me tell you what I mean by this. So I've been investing in real estate for a little while now. It seems like prior to finding Private Money Club, which I've been a part of their program here for 2 years now. Prior to that, for 10 plus years, I had to have like conversations with family, friends. I had to go to like real estate investor association meetings. I had to go to all these places and have conversations with strangers about how to turn them into private money lending. I had to explain private money lending to these people, and some of them got it right away, but it involved extra steps in the process. With Private Money Club, everyone that you see in the chat box, people that you meet on the platform, they understand what private money lending is. So it's almost like the elevator pitch is non-existent. I don't have to say, hey, have you ever heard of private money lending before? Do you want to learn how to make a double-digit rate of return secured by an asset worth much more? I don't have to do that anymore. All I got to do is go in Private Money Club, post my deal, post in the forum, and email out to my list opportunities that I have. And people understand what private money lending is, which is awesome. So remember, this is relationship based right here. Okay, cool. So we got Jacob. Jacob's in the chat. Hey, Jacob, what's up, my man? Okay, Jose's flying right now. Jacob, you got my back. So anytime that I say, hey, Jacob, this person is asking me questions about the accelerator course, Jacob will throw up in the link or in the chat box that link there that ends in blueprint. So one of the things about Private Money Club is that there's not like they don't try to put a round peg through a square hole or a square peg through a round hole. You guys get it? Everything is custom. So I just mentioned my wife teaches about mobile home investing. I teach about private money lending. There's a lot of some of you are coming in with active income goals. Some of you might come in with passive income goals where you just want to like get that mailbox money going. So everyone's plan's a little bit different. Private Money Club offers a lot of cool things for people. The best way to find out about what might be right for you is to click the link that Jacob just posted and to schedule some time with the Private Money Club team. Tell them what your goals are and they help you develop a custom blueprint. It's going to help you hit those goals. So for everyone that logs on to these Thursday calls, here's the deal. Here's what we're going to do today and every week. We always start at 1 o'clock. We're going to keep it real estate. There are a ton of opportunities in Private Money Club. They were doing like forklifts and all these kinds of crazy stuff and people were loving it. On this webinar right here, what we do is we talk about real estate. All right, so that's what I do. That's what I invest in. I'm never going to ask you to do something that I don't do myself. We're going to keep it real estate. All right, so if you're here on the call and you're like, all right, I want to learn how to borrow money for fix and flips, rental properties, Airbnbs, small multifamily, commercial deals, land, cool, you're in the right space. If you're on the call and you're like, hey, I want to lend, I like real estate, I understand the value of real estate, I want to put my money in real estate, but not necessarily swing the hammer. I'd love to be able to put my money to work, have it secured by an asset that's worth much more. Boom, you're in the right place. All right, I got you. I got my lenders here as well. Participation is encouraged. All right, participation is encouraged. Hey, I'm curious how many, this is our 11th Quickstart webinar that we've been doing for the last 11 weeks. I'm curious, how many have you been on? How many Quickstart webinars have you been on? If this is your first, just type 1. Right? Oh, mine's on 10. Okay, cool. 1. All right, I love it. 7, about 6. I love it. 6-ish. Cool. All right, awesome. Thanks. All right, thank you for that, Paul. Paul's batting 100. All right, good job. All right. So participation is encouraged. You guys share your information. If you got deals, talk about them in the chat. It's all good. We're here to network, okay? PMC team is in the chat. We got Jacob in the chat. He's my right-hand man today. So if I have anything I want to share with you guys, I'll have him post it on my behalf. Questions, go in the questions. So the chat box, once I get into stuff, I have a hard time focusing on everything. So if you have a question for me, type it in the Q&A. All right, how questions work. If it's a question I think the whole group would benefit from, then I'll actually share that question with the whole group. If it's a question that might be deal specific to you, then I'll just say, hey, hang out at the end. And I'll help answer that, a little bit more like one-on-one, okay, if that makes sense. All right, and all experience levels are welcome. We got people in here that are brand new. We got people in here that have done over 100 deals. I got love for all of you, right? Everyone was new at one point, and I think that's amazing. And what's cool about being new is you're learning how to do this the right way from the start, and you're avoiding a lot of the hurdles and pitfalls that other people might have to take on. One of the things that we work on every single week is these 4 right here. These 4, I don't know, like pillars, if you will. I used to teach this class and talk about this subject matter all over the place. And whether I was teaching it in Hawaii, Texas, Florida, or in my home backyard here in Colombia, whenever I talked about private money, you guys, everyone always, knew that it was a good thing. They knew that it was something that they should be doing, but it seemed like there were some things that were holding them back, and it's usually these 4 C's right here. One of these, Lots of people understand the value of private money lending. And by the way, these are lessons. Okay, these are lessons. So everything that I say and do, absorb it, take it in. One of the reasons why I think it's so easy for me to go out and top a conversation with people about private money lending as a borrower, as a lender, is because I've said these things a bunch, right? So take note of what I'm saying, because you can say the same thing I'm saying to a potential lender. You can say the same thing I'm saying to a potential borrower. Okay. But this is what we're going to get out of this class every week. Number one is credibility. I meet people all the time who they're using hard money lenders, right? Or they're using like a broker who says I'm a private lender, but it's really not their money, it's other people's money, and it's the same thing. I meet people all the time. That's how they fund their deals, or they're using their own cash to fund their real estate deals. And whenever I ask them, hey, why haven't you used private lending yet? And most of the time, it's not that they're opposed to it. It's just that they don't feel as though they're credible enough to go to a person as opposed to an institution or to a bank, right? And then lots of times it's simply because we've never done that before. If you've never asked a person for $500,000 before, that can seem intimidating. Am I credible enough? I meet people that do tons of real estate in my area, and they're not using private money. They're using hard money lenders because it's what they know. It's what they've done, right? And I'm telling you right now, if you're using hard money lending to fund your real estate deals and you're paying people 13, 14, 15% points, and you're having to come up with your own down payments, and there's inspection processes and all the crap that comes with working with hard money lending, turn your attention to private money, right? And I love hard money lenders. I use hard money lenders until I found my private money lenders for my fix and flips, right? So you got to start somewhere. But as if you're on this call and you've done 20, 50, 100, 200 plus real estate deals, you have the credibility. It's just a matter of being able to effectively communicate what that opportunity is, right? And that's one of the things that I help people with. I help people with this through our accelerator program, through Private Money Club. The other thing is clarity. It's like, how does this all work? Why did my friends lose money lending to other people that they didn't have a great relationship with, or maybe they did have a good relationship with them? Well, they don't understand the paperwork. They didn't understand the process. They didn't understand the good questions to ask. They thought, well, if I just have a promissory note, is that should be good enough, right? Wrong. Wrong. Okay. And then when we have the first two, credibility and clarity, the confidence really seems to come. Okay. So that's the goal here. We're working on this every single week. And if you want to get great at borrowing money, then you really have to place a high value on your lender relationships. You have to put your lenders on a pedestal. Your lender comes first above all else. Your lender gets paid before you do, right? Everything comes through the lender, right? And if you want to get great at lending money, place a high value on your borrowers and your borrower relationships, right? As a private money lender, are you asking your borrower the things that they value, the things that they need out of a lender, right? And so this is relationship-based lending. Yes, what makes private money lending great is it's a loan secured by an asset that's worth much more, right? Some would call that asset-based lending. Of course, we're going to check those boxes. But the one thing that I've learned within Private Money Club is that this is relationship based. Anytime I post a deal on Private Money Club, I get multiple people that are interested in funding my deal. And it's the folks that have taken the time to schedule a call with me, taken the time to meet me or come up to me at one of the live events. It's the folks that I have a relationship with that I want to do the business with, not the stranger. All right. No one night stands. I know it's called the Quickstart webinar, but it's not the Quickie Start webinar. All right. No one night stands. We're here to build long-term lending relationships. All right. Hopefully Chris doesn't play back the video on that one. All right. So how are we going to do this? So every single week we practice, and we're going to go through our drills here in a minute. We practice the fundamentals. We do weekly lessons. We do case studies. And then this is not the webinar where you kick the can down the road and don't ever do anything. This is not a webinar where you just make your turkey sandwiches while you're eating lunch. Okay, this is and you listen to this crazy guy talk about private money lending. This is about doing things. Okay, so every single week, there's different things that you can do to build momentum. Okay, so my hope is that you take what I'm teaching, you go out there and you apply and you start to build upon it. I don't know any other company that does what Private Money Club does in regards to putting out so many different educational and learning opportunities. How many YouTube videos does Chris Naugle post on a week? It's got every week. It's got to be at least 7, right? I mean, so here's what's cool. We're gonna practice fundamentals. Okay, Tanya, what starts on May 6th? I love Tanya. She already put it on her calendar. She doesn't even know what starts May 6th yet. I love it. So Tanya, we have a new session for the accelerator program, and I'll have the PMC team member put it in the link, put the link in the chat box, and you can click on the link and schedule a call to get hooked up and registered for that program. Okay. So practice the fundamentals. We call this yeah, you're welcome. We call this a blueprint, right? So if this is on your blueprint, like learning how to get great at this, tell the team like they can help you develop this. Okay. Every single Thursday, at the minimum, if you just hop on the next call next week, then you made a move, right? So congratulations on that. I love it. That's why there's people that have been on 11 times. Okay. Being great at private money lending and borrowing is about solving people's problems, right? So how many relationships, how many conversations have you had on the PMC platform or out in networking events where you're trying to help solve people's problems? As a borrower, if I'm a real estate investor, I'm looking to borrow funds, okay, to fund my real estate deals. What problem am I solving for people? Pop quiz. Pop quiz. What problem am I solving for someone when I'm borrowing their money? What problem am I solving for people when I'm starting to have these conversations? What problem am I solving for my lenders? Putting their money to work. That's right. I tell you what, more money, more problems, right? You guys heard of that? More money, more problems. If folks have money on the sidelines or in a savings account and it's earning 1%, 2%, 3%, everyone that's been on a private money club webinar knows that inflation is bleeding you dry, right? You're losing your buying power of your money. If a person's money isn't making, the 7, 8, 10 double digit, it's like burning cash, right? That's what Chris says, right? So accept the cat. So that's the problem that we're solving, right? And as lenders, again, I'm teaching here. I know you're like, I know the education. This is the education. As lenders, what problems are we solving for borrowers? What problems are we solving for the borrowers? Last week we talked about this. I kind of gave you guys the idea of, hey, you want to go and meet real estate investors that you could lend money to that actually are like in your area, right? I love it. Chris says win-win situations. Yeah, the process is quicker. Tess says, yeah. So as a real estate investor, one of my problems is I'm making offers. If I have the same offer as someone else, why would the seller take my offer? Well, maybe I can, because I'm working with private money, I can get the deal done in 10 days, where the other person says they need 30 days to close, right? Private money allows me to be able to do that. I can't go to a bank for my loan because the houses that I buy are tore up from the floor up, right? You follow me? So these are problems that real estate investors have. So as lenders, start thinking about, hey, what problems can I solve for you? Okay, what problems can I solve for you? Maybe the person that you meet is a real estate investor and their local community bank says, hey, yeah, we'll give you up to 3 loans to buy rental properties. Well, what happens if you find a 4th deal, right? As a lender, that could be a problem that you solve for someone. So be a problem solver. Accelerator coaching starts May 6th. Money tank. I'll tell you what. I got great question, Kirk. I'll get you, James. I'll get you in a minute. Money tank event upcoming April 26th and 27th. You can attend in person. You can attend virtually. If you are already attending Money Tank, type Money Tank in the chat. If you're going to be there virtually or in person, I'm curious. Anybody going to be there? Money Tank, Money Tank, Money Tank. Yeah, after repair value stands for, or ARV stands for after repair value. That's a great question, James. So when you're analyzing deals, lots of times if it's a fix and flip type of scenario, one of the questions that you're going to want to ask as a lender, the thing that you should be most concerned about, James, if you're lending money, the value of the collateral, right? And then the person's ability to pay you back. The value of the collateral. So when you're looking to lend, let's say you're lending on a fix and flip deal, and it's a $100,000 loan. Keep it real easy. $100,000 loan. The first thing I'm asking, James, is I want to make sure that the house in its current as is condition is close to that $100,000 mark, right? So if no work gets done on the property for some reason, my money is secured by an asset that's worth relatively the same amount. Now, as the property gets renovated, fixed up, hopefully that what was once worth $100,000, because of the repairs and the investments that the real estate investor is making in the project, it forces up the appreciation, forces up the value of the home, and now maybe that home is worth $175,000. So your $100,000 house is going to be worth, or is secured by a home that will have an ARV after repair value of $175,000, right? If that makes sense, right? So these are good things to know. All right, cool, makes sense.
Your real estate business lives and dies by the network and the connections that you make. I mean, after all, your network, well, it's your net worth. That's what you always heard, right? If that's an area where you desire improvement, well, Private Money Club, it's for you. PMC saves you precious time and money by bringing the real estate world, well, right to you, right in the palm of your hand. So get in on the action, like so many others have, by going to privatemoneyclub.com and sign up.
All right, so what is a private money loan? So these are the fundamentals. We practice this every single week, okay? Every single week. I'm a huge hockey fan. I also like basketball. Right now, the playoffs are starting. Guess what? The teams are still practicing their free throws. The teams are still doing the fundamentals, okay? And if ever a team goes into a slump, gets off track, goes on a losing streak, what does the coach do? Hey, we got to get back in the gym. We got to practice our fundamentals. So every single week we practice fundamentals. So what is a private money loan? It's a loan secured by real estate. Those four little words, just like a bank, our million dollar phrase. This has helped me secure a lot of funds using that little term, just like a bank. And whether you're a borrower or a lender, it's important that you're able to explain what a private money loan is. How can you as a lender serve a potential borrower that's never used private money lending before? Your ability to be able to communicate the benefits of how it works is going to help you convert that person from using hard money to using you as a private money lender, right? And it's a win-win, as Tess says, win-win, right? As a borrower, same thing. Let me ask you a question. How many of you know someone in your circle that would be a great private money lender? They just don't know it yet. Does anyone know someone in their circle, family, friend, coworker, former coworker, neighbor, anyone that you know? We all, yeah, me, yeah, okay. You guys know these people, right? Me, okay, cool. So, yeah, and my real estate agents here, I see a couple of real estate agents. If you want to get into real estate investing and you're a real estate agent, I feel like there is no easier transition than, because here's the deal. You have clients. You see how much they're selling their houses for. Maybe they're coming to you looking to buy rental properties and things of this nature, right? Like that should be the easiest conversation, switching people over, right? And showing them the value of this. So this is why this is important. If you know someone that and you're like, hey, this could really help you. It could be win-win, da-da-da-da. What we can't do is just go over there and just be like, you have to do this. You can't be like, your 401k stinks. Like we can't be like that, right? We got to calm it down. We got to play it cool. But what we can do is educate people on what we're doing, right? And one of the best ways that I've found to take someone who's never done this before is to put them in a position that they've already been in before, something that they can relate to and understand. And the best way to do that is to tell people, hey, look, if I'm talking to someone and I think that they would be a great private money lender, right? Like Helen, Christine, right? You guys say yes, yes. I would say, hey, look, have you ever, you own the home that you live in, right? This is your house, you bought it. Yep, I did. Okay, great. And when you bought your house, you signed a big stack of documents, right? You got a mortgage. You promised to pay them back before the closing. Before you got the keys, you had to have insurance set up, right? You did a title search. The attorney title company did a title search on the property, right? You did all of these things, right? You got insurance. It's the same thing. So the same thing that you did to buy your house, the same thing that the bank asked for, is the same thing that I'm going to provide you. I'm going to provide you with a mortgage. I'm going to provide you with a promissory note. I'm going to list you on the insurance, right? I'm going to do title searches and give you a lender's title policy. I'm doing the same exact things. And when you say just like a bank, the light bulbs start to go off, the smiles start to show through, the eyeballs get big, and you can tell that they're getting it, right? So don't give up hope on your friends, family, and neighbors that you know should be private money lenders or could be private money lenders. We just got to get good at having these conversations, and a big part of that is teaching them how to do it. Okay, kind of like the next floor in this elevator explanation here, this elevator pitch is talking about the money. So like, figure out, if you are a borrower, what are the interest rates that you pay? Okay, and if you need help with this at all, get on the line with someone from Private Money Club. Schedule a blueprint call with the team. Like, I love helping people do this. I love helping people craft these things. I love helping people being able to communicate these things, and that's part of what I do with the Private Money Club Accelerator program. I love helping people get great at this stuff. Okay, so figure out what your interest rates are that you're going to be paying people, so you can have these conversations. Now, I see sometimes on the Private Money Club platform, people and just like shooting for the moon. They're like, yeah, I'm desperate. I'll pay a 20% interest or whatever, right? Like, I don't think you have to do that. I know you don't have to do that. So if I were to give you advice, I'd say, hey, like, let's set a parameter here where you tell people, hey, I pay anywhere from 8 to 12% annualized interest for each loan. Each loan opportunity is unique, right? So if you're a lender, you just flip the conversation. Hey, have you ever thought about using private money instead of hard money, or instead of using your own cash? Right? I operate just like a hard money lender would, but my terms might be a little bit more flexible. My rates might be a little bit better. Are you interested? I charge anywhere from 8 to 12%, or 10 to 14%, whatever you want to do. Okay, however you want to do it. But the idea here is have the game plan figured out, so that we can start having these conversations and have them be smooth, right? Which is awesome. Okay, cool. A couple questions here. Would someone be interested in lending for a one-time, for right now, for a laundromat, 200 grand ish? It generates a monthly cash flow on average of 5,000 per month. I don't know. That's a good question, Sean. Type it in the webinar chat and see if anybody is interested in that business. I'd want to know too, is it the real estate as well that comes with it? That might be good to know too. All right, here's what we provide. Okay, here's what we provide. Does the deed of trust need to be filed somewhere? Yes, that gets recorded at the county. Great answer, Leah. Correct. Yep. Very good. All right, cool. So here's what we provide. So these are the basics. Okay, these are for educational purposes only. This is for conversation purposes only. If I was Helen and I was talking to my friend that would make a great private money lender, and I said, just like a bank, and the friend said, just like a bank, tell me more about that. Helen would say, well, what we provide a promissory note, we provide a mortgage or deed of trust, depending on whatever state you're in, Helen. We provide you with a personal guarantee, and we list you on the insurance, just like a bank would want. If you are in Private Money Club, and everybody on this call should be, okay, so Jacob, put the link in there. That's like step one. Everyone on this call should be in Private Money Club. There's a free membership where you can go on the forum and do certain things. And then there's the Premier membership that has some additional benefits and features to it. And there's a group coaching call that we're doing tonight at Thursday from 6 to 8. We're talking mobile home investing. We're talking conscious communication. We got all kinds of really cool stuff planned on the call tonight from 6 to 8 for the Premier members. So if Private Money Club's free to join the platform, But just leapfrog, get the premier membership. I promise you, if a person got one good private money lender relationship where they didn't have to use hard money lending anymore, was it worth it? Absolutely, absolutely, 10 times over. Okay, so these are the same documents that you signed right when you bought the house that you live in. Okay, so we gotta keep. If I were to get another tattoo, this would be it right here: prom note, mortgage, personal guarantee, listing on the insurance. Like, we want to memorize this stuff and be able to explain it to someone, silky smooth, all right. And then all the documents, right? Just like Leah said, hey, all the documents are prepared and recorded by a licensed professional, like the attorneys, right, that you're working with, or whoever's conducting your closing. Okay, so in my experience, where things seem to go bad for people is when there isn't a real estate attorney involved, right? When there isn't title work being performed. And one of the things, like here in South Carolina in Richland County, when Christy and I buy a house, we get the mortgage, we get the promissory note, all these things, right? We get all this stuff set up. The mortgage is actually recorded lots of times the same day. A lot of it's done online now. If we go to some of the more rural counties, that might not be the case. But here in Richland, as soon as the attorney's got everything signed, it gets recorded. But we got to make sure that you're, as a lender, as a borrower, I would be implementing some steps in your process to follow up to make sure that they actually got recorded. Because there have been instances, not where I was working with like a new team in a different state, and my private money lender's loan did not get recorded. I had to follow up, make sure, and they were like, oh my gosh, how did this happen? Da, 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 da. They were probably sending it in mail or something like that. So you got to follow up. So as lenders, what makes private money lending great? The collateral. But if you don't have a mortgage or don't have the deed of trust and it's not recorded, you're going to have problems, right? So make sure everything that we do is done by a professional, right? All right, cool. You guys got this. All right, so these are the fundamentals. This is what we're practicing every single day. Where else can a real estate investor borrow all the money that they need to fund a real estate deal without having to go to a bank? Where else can a person put money to work at interest rates that are double digits and have that money secured by an asset that's worth much more? Okay, that's what we're talking about here in the Private Money Club. All right, cool. Let me do a quick question check. Looks good. All right. Laundromat, check. Looks like there's some interest. Good question here. How does credit worthiness fit in? I think that as a lender, like James, are you speaking from like the lender's perspective or the borrower's perspective? Like, are you the lender and you would want to know? Yeah, cool. So one of the things that if you got to have good conversations with people. Remember, this is relationship based, but it's all business too at the same time. And one of the things that Chris Naugle always tells people is personal financial statements. Okay, so as a lender, here's what's cool. You get to set your rules. Like, just because it's private money lending does not mean that you don't pull credit. If you're the lender, if you wanted to pull someone's credit, pull the credit. Maybe that's how your bank, that's how you do business. Okay, so I think that's very viable. Like, I don't see why that's a crazy idea. Like, oh, it's private money, there's no credit. Yeah, well, maybe James wants to check your credit score. Who cares? Right? So something you got to take into consideration. Okay, you want to make sure there isn't a bankruptcy or something crazy going on there, right? So I don't see anything wrong with that. But one of the things that Chris always preaches is providing a personal financial statement, showing some of your assets, right? So lots of times when you're lending, you should be lending to an entity, okay? Yeah, you should be lending to an entity. You should be lending to an LLC or something of that nature, okay? One of the things that I always recommend is also getting the personal guarantee. Now, personal guarantee, is it worth anything? I don't know. Well, if the person that you're lending to also provides you with a personal financial statement showing you other real estate that they own, maybe showing you what kind of reserves that they have, things of this nature, and then having them sign off on that, now that might help you feel a little bit better about the individual that owns the company that you're lending to. Okay, so that's something, it's definitely something to think about, right? Right, James? So, you get to set your rules. You're the one, it's your money. You know, it's your money. Here's what I would look at. So if you're on the call and you're like, oh crap, like my credit score is not that great and I don't have, a whole lot of money in the bank right now. That's okay, right? But that's a conversation that you would have with someone like James. You might say, hey, look, I'm just starting out my real estate investing business. And James is going to say, no sweat. Did you build your team? Do you have your real estate agent? Do you have your contractor? Do you have your realtor? Do you know who you're going to be surrounding yourself with? Does this property make sense for you? If you're a brand new borrower, James is going to say, okay, is this a fluff and buff? Is this like new carpet, paint, windows type of fix and flip? And am I going to, do I feel confident that you're going to be able to manage this project and give me my money back? Or is this a 1890 Victorian home that hasn't had any updates in the last 200 years or whatever, right? And this is your first deal. That's a problem, right? So James is going to look at all of this before he makes his decisions. And one of the things that, from like a cash reserves and private money type of standpoint, here's what James is probably going to really want to see. James is going to want to see that you have at least 6 months worth of interest in your bank account, right? So if the monthly payment to James is $2,000, James is going to make sure you got 10 or 12 grand in reserves to make sure that you make that payment, right? James understands that you're probably not a millionaire if you're just starting out your real estate investing adventure, right? But it's the idea of communicating, being sincere, showing what you're working with, where you're coming from, and maybe because it's your first deal, maybe because James might deem this loan a little riskier. Instead of charging you 12%, James charges you 14%, right? So isn't that cool? It's negotiable, right? There's no like, oh, your credit score is this, denied, right? It's not like that, which is cool. Okay. So here's my little process here. This is what I do when I have deals get funded. Here's how you do it. You go to Private Money Club. It's free to join. If everyone on here, if there's anyone on this call who's not a member of Private Money Club, go just end the call right now and go over there and do it, right? If anything, okay? You can stay on, open 2 windows, go sign up, stick on the webinar. That's probably a better idea. If you can go from free to premium, there's different benefits, messaging options that are going to lead to better relationship building and so on and so forth. And we got a coaching call tonight that you can hop onto, but it's good, guys. I wouldn't put my name on it if it wasn't. So this is what I do. I post a deal here. I post in the forum. I post a deal. My call to action is I send people to a website to schedule a call with me. Okay. One of the biggest tips that I can give you with all of this is when you're posting deals, it's not about getting funding like right away. Like the only thing that you should be selling is the next step. So if you post a deal, you post in the forum, instead of saying, fund this deal, I'm desperate, I need help, the conversation should be more like, hey, let's hop on the phone together. Let's have a meeting. I'd love to work with a lender long-term, do deals over and over and over again. Here's one that I have going on currently. But the call to action is to set up a call. All right. I think this is what works really good right now. At least it does for me. I don't know how it's much simpler. Doing this is way easier than going to all your friends, family, RIA meetings and all this stuff and saying, hey, have you ever heard of private money lending before? And I can pay you double digits and have it secured. Join the club. All right. Join the club. Set up a meeting. All right, cool. So one of the things that I was going to cover here today with our next 15, 20 minutes or so is kind of like this little lender checklist. Like this is something that I put together that I think you guys could definitely benefit from. Maybe you could take a screenshot of this or your phone, take notes on this. But private money lending is pretty simple, but there are a lot of things you need to like account for, right? From just both the borrower side and the lender side. My accelerator class is filled with checklists just like this. And before hopping on the call, I pulled it from there. And this is one of the things that I give you in the accelerator course. So let me see here. Question real quick. If a lender asks for some form of personal financial statement to back a personal guarantee, do you provide it? Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, how hard is the bank's going to ask for this, right? The bank's going to ask for asset verification. So if you say you got 10 grand in the account, you might as well submit a bank statement that goes along with it or whatever, right? Because I think a lender should be asking for that. All right, cool. So this is kind of, a little little lender checklist here, right? What's up, Martin? And so at the top, like maybe you use this, maybe you don't. But what some of my students do is they actually, if they're lenders, this is primarily for like lenders here. So if I was a lender, I might take this and staple it to a manila folder. All the documents that I'm collecting and things of that nature, I might stick in the manila folder, but then like staple this to the front. And so you can go through and make sure everything is in the folder that should be in the folder, which is cool. All right, Sean, book the meeting. All right, cool. All right, that's awesome, Sean. Love to hear it. So at the top, real simple, borrower name, contact, phone number, email, the borrower's address, right? Borrower's address. Yeah, it's funny. Leah says, I feel like borrowers are so reluctant to give document. They act like you're crazy to ask, like no one asks for this. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's, I don't know. It's, go work with them. Go work with them, you know, go work with them. I'm not, here's what's cool, guys. If you're a lender and, it's okay for you to not lend money. Like if you see a deal and it's a good deal, but for whatever reason, someone doesn't want to like follow your plan or like your company policy that you set up for yourself to ask for certain things. I promise you there's other borrowers out there. Like never become a motivated lender, right? Never become a motivated lender. Lots of times if you're lending and it's your retirement, you worked 40 years for that nest egg. And some schmuck isn't going to give you a bank statement to make sure that they have what they say they have. They can go take a hike is kind of like how I feel about that, right? So this is your money. Don't ever become a motivated lender. There's lots of good people out there with good deals, all right? Take your time. Take your time. I know a lot of you just joined Private Money Club and you got your policy set up and you're like, I got to go put this money to work. Relax. Take your time. Build some good relationships. Over the next 12 months, if you found 3 people that you enjoy doing business with, that's a win, because you can do business with those same 3 people over and over and over and over again for the rest of your lives, right? So just calm down, take your time, right? If there's something that you want, someone doesn't want to give it to you, then tell them to go to a bank, right? And they probably can't. So, all right, cool. So here's I got the loan amount here, the maturity date, things like that. And then I got the monthly payment, interest rate, monthly payment due date, just so it's fresh, okay? So real quick, some deal analysis here. And Anna, I see you, Anna. You can send me an email and message me afterwards. So deal analysis stage, right? We're not just jumping into loans. And just because someone posts something on Private Money Club doesn't mean we just like, oh, where do I wire the money? Let's talk about this deal. Let's see what's going on. So number 1, did you interview the borrower? Okay. Did I do this? Did I interview the borrower? Right? Did I have a one-on-one with this person over the phone or a Zoom call? That's important. Did that person provide me with a deal summary? Okay. Like your people should be providing you with something outlining their loans. Like I make videos, okay? And I make videos and I have documents, but I can also take those documents and put them into a file and send them to my lenders. I like doing videos explaining my documents, but I like to provide, you got to have a deal summary. Like tell me all about this deal, okay? Comps, right? Comparable sales. We want to make sure that the people that we're lending to are providing proof that the real estate is worth what they say it's worth. Maybe this is an appraisal. At this deal analysis stage, I would just want to see comparable sales. If it's going to be a rental property, I want to see comparable sales and comparable rents. Real estate agents can provide this to investors. It's very simple, very easy for them to do. Is this person providing it to you? Okay. Repair estimate or scope of work. So if someone says, hey, this is a fix and flip property, fantastic. Can you send me a repair estimate or scope of work of how you came up with these numbers? Easy breezy, okay? And if someone can't do this, it means they're not prepared to start that project. If someone can't tell you who their contractor is and how they came up with the repair costs, they're not ready. They're not ready. That's a problem. So have them make sure they figure it out. Hold them accountable to putting it together, right? Review the borrower's team. Yeah, who's your real estate attorney? Who's going to be selling this house? Who's going to be the contractors that's going to be working on the properties? And it's okay to ask these questions because you're going to get a good feel for how the person is going to handle your funds and how that project's going to go based on the responses that you're getting. If they're like, I'm not sure, I don't know, I'm going to do a lot of the work myself, on the weekends, my uncle's going to help me. All right, you get the idea here. See how they answer these questions, okay? Past lender references. I think this is important. I don't think people ask for this enough. Lots of times when borrowers are pumping their own tires and bragging about their business and how great they are, and I don't mean to sound negative. I'm just telling you how it is. They're going to say, oh, we've got this many deals going on. We've got this many projects going on. And, if someone says, oh, I've got 10 houses projects going on right now. Great. What are the addresses? Write down the addresses and see how those projects are going. Like, you can see if they bought it 2 years ago, that's probably a nightmare property if it was supposed to be a fix and flip. So ask for references from other lenders, ask for addresses from some of their recent properties, right? Again, this is your money, okay? This is your money. Total debt to value ratio, just for your ideas, loan to value ratio is really important. That more the asset's worth and the lower the amount you lend, the lower your ratio is going to be, and that's safer for you. So, is it 70%? Is it 80%? Are you lending 80% of what the house is valued at? I just wouldn't do 100, right? If you're in like the 90, 85, 90, 95, 100, and this is something important to look at. So like if you're looking at deals on Private Money Club, and lots of times people are like, hey, I'm looking for a second position. We should be asking, how much was the first loan? How much was the first mortgage? Because if the first mortgage is 150 and they want another 50, but the house is only worth 215, there's not a lot of equity in that property, if any at all, right? So what makes private money lending sexy is that your money is secured by collateral that's worth much more. So it's good to take note on what the person believes the loan to value would be for this loan. Is it a first position? Is it a second position? And then did you have the conversation of, is the borrower going to provide you with a mortgage? Is the borrower going to provide you with a promissory note, personal guarantee? Are they going to list you on the insurance? Are you requesting a lender's title policy as well? Do they provide you with a financial statement? Do you have a copy of their driver's license? Do you have a copy of their LLC documents? And by the way, anyone that does real estate full time should have all of these things, no problem. Like there's a Google Drive that I have right now that has my driver's license, has my corporate entities, has a personal financial statement, and if someone wanted it, I could send it to them in less than 5 minutes. Okay, so this shouldn't be like pulling teeth to get this information. Okay, how will the project progress be communicated? And this is one that I think people skip over a lot and don't talk about it, and it creates problems on the back end because maybe you're the type of lender that wants constant updates and you don't want to feel like you're left in the dark. And because the borrower isn't communicating as frequently as what your expectations are, you think something might be wrong. And that might not be the case. So let's talk up front. Did we talk about how the project progress would be communicated? And so one of the things that I do, for instance, I'll give you some options. You could create a Google Drive folder and you could upload videos into the Google Drive folder, and then the lender could have access to those videos. You could email them on a monthly basis with updates. I like to do a Facebook page. So I do a private Facebook page that's just for me, my lender, and maybe my real estate agent. And that's it. And anytime a contractor sends me a photo or we go and visit the property and something's been completed, a new stage is done, or electrical's done, appliances are in, granite's in, or whatever, we post it to the Facebook group. And what's cool is I don't have to call or text the lender and talk to the lender directly. I can just post it there and then the lender sees it. They like it, they comment, they click the heart, the smiley face, and it's fun, right? But the idea here is, are we having these conversations up front and setting good expectations. All right, cool. So we're about halfway through, but I really don't want to rush through this last stuff here, and it is 2:00. So we'll probably just pick up next week, right where we left off, right here at pre-closing review. What you want to do before you wire the funds, what happens once the deal is funded and the borrower buys the house, and then what happens when you get the news that they're about to give you your money back, right? So we'll talk about some of these things here. Question, what if an LLC doesn't have an operating agreement, like a single member LLC, just articles of incorporation? Would that concern you? That wouldn't concern me too much, but I don't know, maybe it would you. It doesn't really bother me too much. All right, cool. Maybe it should. Maybe there's something I don't know, Leah. Any other questions, guys? Hello, Chris. So my name's Noah. How do I jump on a call with you? Well, if you are a part of my accelerator program, I'm going to have Jacob throw up a link right here, guys. Hey, if you like this, if you like how I teach, if you enjoy learning this stuff and you want access to more higher level resources and things like this, I encourage you, May 6th, we are kicking off a new accelerator coaching program. It's what I do with Private Money Club. So on Mondays, I teach, Mondays at 6, I teach from the borrower's perspective. Oh, no, excuse me. Mondays at noon, I teach from the borrower's perspective. And then Wednesdays at 6, I teach from the lender's perspective. So I recommend whether you're a borrower or a lender that you hop on both. I think I can turn lenders into great lenders if they understand what I'm teaching the borrowers. And I can turn great people into great borrowers if they understand what I'm teaching the lenders. Right, so it's 4 weeks, 2 nights a week, 4 weeks. And then after that, if you have any questions, I help you for the next 4 weeks, get the ball rolling and so forth. So, all right, Rick, what's up, man? All right, looking forward to it, my friend. Thanks for tuning in today. This is awesome. Yeah, and all right, cool. James just giving my stuff away for free. All right, James, I see how you're doing it. All right. That's what we do. Private Money Club, again, I love this company because the amount of education that they provide every single day is unparalleled. I don't know any other company that does it like these guys. And if you want to be around the campfire a little tighter, a little closer, schedule a call with Jacob and set up a blueprint call and get in the club, man. It's a free membership. Why wouldn't you do that? And then premium, it's almost like because of everything that they provide you, like all this training and stuff Chris does, it's almost like it's like, well, shoot, why wouldn't I go premium? Like everything this guy's doing for me. It's a good company to be around. I think everybody on this call would concur with that. That's been around PMC for a little while now. So, all right, cool. Let's make a move. Here we go. Make a move. This is not to just make a turkey sandwich and listen to this crazy guy talk about private money webinar. This is all about taking action. Okay, so we went over some fundamentals. Make sure that you're working those fundamentals. If you want help figuring out, man, I want some one-on-one help. I want something a little more custom. Schedule a call with Jacob and the PMC team. We call those blueprint calls. Attend next week's call. Same time, same place. I'm going to Salt Lake City Thursday night. Shauna asked me, Noah, do you want to teach the Quickstart webinar at 1 o'clock still? Because I know you got a flight. And I said, absolutely, yes. We got to get the hours in. We got to practice. If you guys want to be great at anything, what is it? The 1,000 hours. You do something you practice something for 1,000 hours, you are ahead of 99% of the other people that are out there. 1,000 hours a year, you're ahead of 99% of all the other people that are out there in your field. So when it comes to private money lending, are you practicing 1,000 hours a year? How do we do this? Well, we just did 1 hour right now. So here's the deal. It's 18 minutes a day. If you can carve out 18 minutes a day working on private money lending, you're going to be in that top 1% knowledge base, right? And ability to have great conversations. We just did 60 minutes. Okay, so all 18 minutes a day. We just got 3 days worth, right? So every single week, log in. If you haven't created your Private Money Club profile right now, go ahead and do it. Free or premium, either way, it's a win, right? Just leapfrog, go premium. We got Accelerator starting May 6th, and we got the Money Tank event in Salt Lake City coming up April 26th and 27th, right? So you guys have been awesome. I hope you had a great time on this webinar. Was this good stuff? Type good stuff if you liked it. If there's anything that you want to learn, I'm always looking for topics. I'm always looking for scenarios and things like that to teach and to cover. And I'd be if you want to reach out to me, you feel free to reach out, and I will we'll do a custom one for whatever you got going on in your life. All right. If you have deals, I'm gonna type it right here. Money Club Mondays. I know some of you messaged me and you had opportunities, lending opportunities, deals to present. I think Chris is still on the call. She had a nice deal. Chris, drop your email in there one more time. You guys should talk to her. I saw it. It looked pretty good, and I know she's someone with a great reputation and track record. But if you have a deal that you want to present to the Private Money Club community, here's what's awesome about this. You hop on a webinar Mondays at 1 o'clock with Steve and Nagy. You present your deal. And then that gets recorded and sent out to all the Private Money Club members. So even though there might be like 100, 150 people on the webinar hearing your deal, then there's all these people that go and watch the recordings as well. And last time I saw one of mine, it was like upwards of 900 views. So I don't know where else on the face of the earth you can have a lending opportunity that you can present to a group that understands what private money lending is, and close to 1,000 people might see it. So that's the power of what we got going on here. So thank you, Chris. Thank you, Stephen, for developing that. If you got a deal, cruise over to Money Club Mondays at 1 o'clock. And if you don't know what that is, then I would click the blueprint link and have Jacob, Jose, and the team get you set up on one of those, right? We're always looking for deals to present. So if you're a premium member, you got a deal, you want to present it, that's the best place to do it, right? Get it out there. So, all right, cool, guys. I'm signing off. This has been an awesome call. Thanks to everybody. All right, yep. Take care. All right, bye.